Welcome to While We Were Distracted, the podcast where we explore topics that often get overshadowed in the rush of daily life.
Right now, Microsoft is spending millions of dollars to just permanently incinerate decades of your old chat logs.
Yeah, they're literally burning it all down.
Right. But just down the street, you have these cutting-edge AI companies that are paying, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy the exact same kind of data.
It's wild. It's a complete paradox.
It really is. So welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, our mission is to explore that jarring paradox. We're looking at why the tech giants who built our digital world view your digital exhaust as, like, a toxic liability, while this whole new industry sees it as the ultimate gold mine.
Yeah, because it is a massive, a structural shift in how the tech industry values digital history. And it's happening right under our noses.
Exactly. And to make sense of this, we're pulling from a really interesting stack of sources today. We've got tech reporting from Forbes and Fast Company. We're looking at official Microsoft support documentation. And we're also diving into community discussions straight from Windows forums.
Which are always a gold mine for how people are actually reacting to this stuff.
Oh, for sure. And the common thread here is your data. I want you, the listener, to really think about your own digital footprint today. Every quick Slack message, every late-night email, every typo you hastily corrected in a group chat, what is that actually worth?
Well, let's start by looking at a scenario where that data is being treated as an immense burden, right? We're currently watching this massive ongoing data purge from the fall of an absolute giant, which is Skype.
Yes, Skype. I mean, there was a time when Skype was the default verb for video calling. You didn't, video call someone, you Skyped them.
Right, exactly. But according to Microsoft's official support documentation, Skype officially retired on May 5, 2025.
Which is still crazy to think about.
It truly is the end of an era. At its peak, Skype had over 300 million monthly active users. But as the Windows forum discussions highlight, they lost massive ground over the last decade.
Yeah, to platforms like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Slack, all of those.
Exactly. Independent estimates put them at under 50 million users by the time the shutdown was announced.
I mean, it's still a massive population of users.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Now, Microsoft has shifted its entire consumer communication strategy. They're pushing everyone to migrate to a platform called Teams Free. And they've made the migration path seemingly pretty easy,
Right, on paper at least.
Yeah. If you log into Teams Free with your old Skype credentials, most of your standard chats and contacts just migrate automatically.
But the key word there is standard. This is not a perfect one-to-one mirror image of your digital life moving to a new home.
Right.
And more importantly, there is a very strict, unforgiving ticking clock on this entire process.
Yeah, let's talk about that timeline. Because it has shifted slightly, which just shows how massive an undertaking deleting this much human history actually is. Microsoft had to extend the data export deadline to June 2026. But they begin their irreversible deletion processes on April 1st, 2026.
Right, that's when the purge really starts.
Exactly. And after June 15, 2026, any unmigrated data is just gone, like erased from their servers forever.
And we really need to emphasize what gets left behind in this automatic migration because it's significant. If you rely purely on the automated jump to Teams Free, you lose any Skype to Skype for business chats.
Wow, okay.
You lose private encrypted conversations. You lose bot content.
And this is the one that really gets me. You lose the 1.1 chat with self.
Yes. Which is such a fascinating casualty of this purge.
It really is.
For years, people used that self-chat feature as like an impromptu digital scrapbook. It was where you dropped grocery lists, rough drafts of sensitive emails.
Or passwords you absolutely shouldn't have been pasting in there.
Exactly. It was an incredibly common, very human use case.
So if you want to keep that specific scrapbook of data, you have to manually go to the Skype data export portal, request a download, which, by the way, Microsoft warns could take up to 30 days if your file is huge.
Right. Because of all the media and history.
Yeah, and then you have to manually save it as a zip file. And if you don't do that by the deadline, it's just gone. So this feels exactly like a digital eviction notice. The landlord, which is Microsoft, is shutting down the building. They're giving you a final extension to pack up your boxes and move to their new building across the street. But whatever you leave behind, or whatever doesn't fit in the new apartment, goes straight into the incinerator.
That is a very, very accurate way to visualize it.
But here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Why the incinerator? In an age where we are constantly told that data is the new oil, why is Microsoft so eager to permanently torch decades of historical communication data? Like, why not feed it into an algorithm or find a use for it?
It ultimately comes down to a really harsh calculation of liability versus monetization.
Okay.
From a corporate perspective, sitting on decades of inactive, non-monetizable communication data is a massive ticking time bomb.
Really? How so?
Well, it requires continuous server upkeep, which is expensive. It poses a severe security risk if breached. And frankly, it deeply complicates compliance with strict global privacy laws.
Oh, like Europe's GDPR.
Exactly. Under GDPR, holding unnecessary user data can lead to massive financial penalties.
So the data isn't oil to them, it's radioactive waste.
Exactly. Legacy platforms must evolve or retire. Microsoft's strict deletion policy enforces data minimization. They are actively choosing to reduce their risk surface.
Even if it frustrates legacy users who might log in, a year from now and find their digital memories just wiped out.
Right. For a giant like Microsoft, the minimal reward of keeping that old Skype data is simply not worth the massive legal and financial squeeze.
Okay, so for a giant like Microsoft, this data is just a massive legal liability. But what happens when you look at a company that doesn't have a giant compliance department, but instead has a massive pile of bankruptcy debt?
That's where the story flips.
Yeah, because suddenly that exact same toxic waste looks like an absolute goldmine.
Yes. This is the phenomenon Forbes is calling the digital salvage, and it represents a profound counterintuitive shift in the AI economy.
It's crazy. We are talking about defunct, totally failed startups selling their operational exhaust directly to AI labs.
Right.
The Forbes article highlights this incredible example with Shanna Johnson. She was a CEO of a transcription company called CLO24. And the company was essentially failing and winding down operations. And she sold 13 years of their digital footprint. We are talking every single internal Slack channel, every internal ticket, multi-terabyte Google Drives, just full of employee emails.
And she didn't just sell it for pennies in a fire sale. She sold it for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wait, hundreds of thousands?
Yeah. She explicitly noted that this unexpected influx of cash allowed them to pay their remaining bills and tie the company up neatly, rather than crash landing into a messy bankruptcy.
Wow. And this isn't just a one-off lucky break for one CEO either. There is an entire shadow industry springing up around this right now.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a startup called Simple Closure, led by CEO Doriona, that actually specializes in helping companies shut down. They've processed around 100 of these data deals in the past year alone.
Which is staggering.
Yeah, they're handing out payouts ranging from $10,000 to $100,000 per dead company. They're even launching a beta marketplace called Asset Hub, specifically for auctioning off dead company data to the highest bidder.
And there are competitors, too. A company called Sunset is doing the exact same thing. And what's interesting is how they price this data in these marketplaces.
How does that work?
Well, they note that the price isn't just a flat rate. It depends on the company's age, size, and what they call data richness.
Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, if a startup completely fails and goes out of business, isn't their internal Slack history just a very, very expensive record of exactly how to fail?
That's what everyone assumes.
Right. Why on earth would anyone, let alone a cutting-edge AI lab, pay 6 figures for the messy, disorganized internal chats of a bankrupt company?
It is a totally logical question, but it highlights a fundamental misunderstanding of what AI actually needs right now. The AI labs don't care about the business strategy.
They don't.
No, they don't care that the company failed to find product market fit or ran out of funding. What's fascinating here is that the value is entirely in the noise.
Wait, by noise do you mean like the typos, the passive-aggressive emojis, the office politics? Why would an AI want that?
Because it is the authentic, messy reality of real-world human collaboration.
Oh, wow.
To understand why this is suddenly so valuable, we have to look at the current state of AI training. According to former OpenAI chief scientist Ilya Sutskever, AI labs basically exhausted the public internet by late 2024.
Wait, they literally read the whole internet?
She did. They scraped all of Wikipedia, every public Reddit thread, every digitized public domain book. They tapped the well completely dry.
That's insane.
But think about the nature of that public data. It is highly curated and performative.
Right, like a Wikipedia article cleanly tells you verified fact.
Exactly. And a Reddit thread gives you structured opinions or arguments, but neither of those things teaches an AI how to actually do work in a chaotic office environment.
I see.
To build the next generation of AI, they desperately need authentic examples of humans doing actual mundane, disorganized, day-to-day work.
So they need to see the messy process, not just the polished final product.
Precisely. And this brings us directly to the concept of the AI middle manager. Because the public internet has been tapped out, the focus in the AI industry has completely shifted.
Okay.
They no longer just want an AI that can answer trivia questions or write a polite email. They want agentic AI.
Let's define that, because agentic AI is a term thrown around a lot of boardrooms right now.
Essentially, it means an AI that operates as an autonomous agent. It doesn't just wait for a prompt to answer a question. It is given a broad goal and executes a series of complex tasks autonomously to achieve it.
Gotcha.
But to teach an AI how to do that, AI companies are having to build what they call RL gyms, reinforcement learning gyms.
So if I'm understanding this right, an RL gym is basically a corporate escape room for artificial intelligence.
That's a great way to put it.
Like, you trap the AI in a simulated environment, give it a goal, and it has to try millions of different conversational combinations, earning points when it successfully navigates a task, and losing points when it hallucinates or offends a simulated coworker until it learns the optimal path.
That is exactly how it works. And the financial investment in these corporate escape rooms is staggering.
I bet.
Anthropic is reportedly considering spending $1 billion on these RL gyms just this year alone.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Just for practice environments.
Yeah. And this is where that defunct startup data becomes the crucial missing puzzle piece. Startups are using this purchase data to create highly realistic, simulated corporate environments for AI to practice in.
Yeah, the Forbes piece had some wild examples of this ecosystem. A company called Micro One sells a product called Roots, which is essentially a mock holding company, like a fake business, designed purely for AI to practice tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And another company, After Query, literally sells simulated digital worlds to AI labs with names like Big Tech World and Finance World.
Right. And inside these simulated worlds, the AI agents are given tasks that require navigating complex human dynamics, which they can only understand if they've been trained on that messy noise we talked about earlier.
Yes. The example from the article perfectly illustrates this. Imagine an AI agent is placed in one of these simulated corporate worlds and tasked with planning a birthday party for a coworker named Bob.
Okay, classic office task.
Right. But the AI forgets the date. Then it realizes another coworker is also planning a party for Bob.
Oh, a conflict.
Exactly. So the AI has to navigate workplace messaging, do detective work, figure out who to Slack, who to email, and decide whether to join forces or cancel their own party to avoid stepping on toes.
And how does the AI learn how to navigate that incredibly specific, nuanced social scenario? It learns by reading the millions of real Slack messages and emails from those failed startups.
That makes so much sense now.
That is exactly what they mean by data richness in these auctions. Let me give you a technical example. A plain text document explaining how to code is worth very little, but a Jira ticket, which is, software used to track bugs, that is actively linked to a specific code commit, where a developer actually saved an update to the software, surrounded by 3 days of frustrated Slack messages between two developers trying to figure out why the code broke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that interlocking web of context is worth its weight in gold.
It's just wild.
Right.
The AI is basically being forced to play an ultra-realistic, incredibly mundane corporate video game.
Pretty much.
And I just have to point out the ultimate irony here to you, the listener. All those hours you thought you were wasting at your desk, venting on Slack, going back and forth about whose turn it is to buy the office coffee, or resolving a petty dispute. That might actually be the most financially valuable work you ever produced.
It really reframes the value of human labor, doesn't it?
It completely does.
This data is teaching AI the nuance of human interaction, office politics, and collaborative problem solving that you simply cannot scrape from a Wikipedia page.
No.
It is teaching them how to be human in a corporate setting.
Which brings us to the massive, glaring elephant in the room, the privacy paradox.
Yeah.
Let's look at the two halves of our deep dive today. On one side, Microsoft is actively deleting millions of users' Skype data, specifically to avoid privacy landmines.
Right. They do not want the liability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on the other side, in the startup world, those exact same privacy landmines are being packaged, priced, and sold at auction. So what happens to the actual human beings attached to these lucrative data sets?
That is the exact alarm bell that privacy advocates are ringing right now. Mark Rotenberg, the founder of the Center for AI and Digital Policy, is extremely vocal about this. He warns that employee privacy is a massive, largely unchecked concern in this new data rush.
He actually prompted his organization to send a formal letter to the FTC demanding regulatory scrutiny on this exact practice, right?
Yes, he did. His core argument is about consent. Employees signed up to communicate with their colleagues to build a software product or provide a service.
Right.
They never expected, nor did they consent to, their daily Slack messages being repurposed and optioned off for third-party AI training years later.
Now, the companies brokering these deals, like Simple Closure, defend the practice by claiming they scrub the data.
Yeah, that's their line.
They say they use software to remove personally identifiable information, or PII things like social security numbers, phone numbers, or clear names. But the experts in the data industry say that is a lot easier said than done.
Oh, it is functionally incredibly difficult, bordering on impossible, to perfectly scrub a data set that large and complex.
Really?
Impossible.
Yeah. Bobby Samuels from a company called Protégé, which helps companies navigate real-world data regulations, points out that there's no magical on-off switch for personal information across a career's worth of work.
Right, because how do you scrub an inside joke? How do you anonymize a highly specific project name that only 3 people in the world worked on, or a distinct cadence of speaking?
You really can't.
If you take out the names, the context still points right at you. Exactly. And if the anonymization isn't flawless, there is a severe risk that the activities and identities of individual people leak into the AI model's final output.
Yikes.
And this isn't just a theoretical fear. There is a proven risk of a phenomenon researchers call regurgitation.
Regurgitation. Explain the mechanism there, because it sounds ominous. How does an AI accidentally regurgitate private data?
To understand this, you have to understand how large language models, or LLMs, actually function. They don't think like we do. They operate on mathematical probability.
Right, like predictive text on your phone, but way more advanced.
Exactly. They are constantly just predicting the most likely next word based on their training data. A 2020 study, which included researchers from OpenAI and Google, showed that if you feed a highly specific, unique sequence of text into an LLM during training, like a bizarre inside joke from a Slack channel, the model creates a very specific probabilistic pathway for that phrase.
Because there's no other logical next word in its neural network for that specific context.
Right. So later, if a user gives the AI the right prompt, it triggers that pathway, and the AI will just spit that exact original, supposedly private data back out verbatim. It literally memorizes it by accident.
Oh, wow. Here's where it gets really interesting, and I want to bring the stakes to the present day for you, the listener. We've been talking about defunct startups, but your current employer could be quietly scraping your daily Slack messages right now to build a proprietary internal AI.
Oh, absolutely. It's happening everywhere.
Imagine this scenario. Let's say your old startup failed and the CEO sold all the Slack data to an AI lab to pay off debts. You move on, you get a great new job in a new company.
Okay.
A few years later, your new company buys a cutting-edge AI middle manager tool built by that same lab to help organize the office. What if that new AI model memorized your old data a little too well?
That's the nightmare scenario.
Right. What if you ask it a question about a project and it accidentally regurgitates data that reveals to your new coworkers that you were the one who completely broke the software at your last job, or that you were the one who forgot Bob's birthday back in 2024?
It sounds like a dystopian science fiction plot, but based on the mathematical realities of how these models learn and predict, it is a very real possibility.
It's terrifying.
This raises an important question about the tension between rapid technological advancement and individual consent. Who truly owns the exhaust of our daily digital labor?
That's the million-dollar question.
Legal contracts might explicitly say the company owns the intellectual property, the code, the patents, the final designs, but does that really extend to the cadence of your speech, your workplace relationships, your personal events, and your inside jokes?
It is such a massive gray area, and the law has not caught up to the technology at all. So what does this all mean? Let's bring this all together. We are essentially looking at a tale of 2 digital cities. On one hand, you have historic, massive platforms like Skype being wiped off the map. Microsoft has a ticking clock running down to June 2026, and they're treating vast amounts of user data like a toxic liability that needs to be incinerated.
Prioritizing strict privacy, compliance, and data minimization.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you have the corporate graveyard of failed startups. And in that world, dead Slack messages, Pipos, and old Jira tickets are being resurrected as the million-dollar fuel for tomorrow's agentic AI.
It is a wild paradox.
It really is. And for you, the listener, I think the takeaway is a total shift in perspective. Every message you type, every support ticket you close, every mundane chat you send today, it might seem like absolutely nothing to you.
Just daily noise.
Right. But it represents the highly coveted raw human behavior that tech companies are currently desperate to replicate. Your digital exhaust is the literal blueprint for the AI that comes next.
And that leaves us with one final, perhaps uncomfortable, thought to mull over.
Oh, let's hear it.
We've established that our private workplace conversations are the exact raw material being used to build the AI agents designed to eventually automate those very tasks.
Yeah.
If that is the case, and a bankrupt company is auctioning off that data for hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay its debts, shouldn't the employees who actually generated that value be entitled to a financial cut of the sale?
Wow. Now that is a question worth taking a deep dive into. Think about that next time you go to clean out your digital drawers. Thanks for listening.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next episode on While We Were Distracted.